Real TV Sports.
Breaking news, Deontay Johnson to the Ravens. I think a great team just got a lot better.
I think Deontay is a top 10 route runner. I think he's going to pair well with Lamar. You know, Lamar loves to scramble. Obviously, we know that. And Deontay's going to get it open. I'm telling you, he's going to be the number one wide receiver there. Flowers is going to go to the two.
I think it also adds a lot of value to Bateman too. With Bateman probably going to the slot if Zay doesn't transition to the slot, Bateman's going to get a lot of targets, especially because I know they're the number one rushing offense in the league, but I think it's also by attempts too. You add another playmaker on the outside, it's going to take a big load off of Derrick Henry going down the stretch for the playoff push. If Lamar can get that passing attack down too, I can't see a defense that'll stop an offense flying that high.
I'll be honest with you here. I think I'm down to overrate Deontay a little bit for this. Like I think he might be the best receiver that Lamar Jackson has ever had. I don't think it's good for fantasy, but I think for a football team like making a playoff push, now they have a route runner. They have two speed guys. Zay Flowers is most likely going to be on cornerback too. I think it's a great move.
Deontay's your classic 6, 7 catches, 80 yards. You know, you're not going to get that insane game from him, but it's the piece they were missing, I think.
It's going to be cool to see if it's that he doesn't have receivers or he doesn't know how to use receivers. That's going to be a test that is going to be under the microscope.
Yeah, that's always been an excuse for Lamar. It's like, oh, well, he doesn't have a receiver.
Well, now you do.
Even Derrick Henry is now going to not have as full of a box. I think that this move really, really helps them out a lot. I mean, you had guys like Nelson Aguilar running out there for them, guys like Rashad Bateman. No disrespect to either of those two receivers, but like they're not a good wide receiver too.
The Ravens add a receiver. That must be nice, but the poor Texans just lost Stephon Diggs to a torn ACL. How bad do you think this hurts them in the long run?
Tank Dell's going to finally step up into that role that we saw him have last year. Yes, Stephon Diggs is still a very good receiver. He's not the elite receiver he was. Give it 2-3 weeks and it'll look like Diggs was never on the roster.
It's back to last year. You just add Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
A good Joe Mixon.
Yeah,
really good.
He looks great.
Yeah.
I think an issue with the Diggs injury is that they might end up rushing Collins back. The injury was bad enough to put on IR. Now they're in a bad spot. Tank Dell is nowhere near a wide receiver one.
No, yeah, Tank Dell is not a wide receiver one. And what people forget is Tank Dell got shot. Like, could that be the reason why he's not doing as good? Like, Tank Dell took a bullet in the offseason. Like, yeah, no wonder bro regressed.
He was just the wide receiver 3, like clearly. And I actually have a little bit of a different take than I think majority in here. I think that Stephon Diggs injury is pretty bad to the Texans. Let's be honest here. Like CJ Stroud and that Texans offense has been underwhelming.
Very.
And now they lose their wide receiver 2 in Stephon Diggs, who was having a good year. Let's not sugarcoat it. He wasn't having that like Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen wide receiver 1 year because he wasn't the wide receiver 1 there. He was the wide receiver 2. Any team that loses their wide receiver 2, one of the best wide receiver 2s in football right now as well, that's a big loss. I don't know. CJ Stroud definitely needs to step up his game too because he's been having like a kind of shaky year.
It's been bad compared to what I expected.
Yeah,
right?
You brought up a good point. And you know why? It's because I watch a lot of the Texans just because I have fantasy stock in them. Every single drop back, CJ Stroud has pressure in his face. The line has been terrible. I can't hold off. Anymore. I say we talk about the game of the week this week. It's on everybody's heads. We got the Lions going to Lambeau. The Lions look like a buzzsaw. They look unbelievable. They just dropped 52 on the Titans. The Packers, questionable. Jordan Love, I don't know what the status is there. He was banged up. If both healthy, that's definitely one of the best matchups of this year so far.
It's going to be the Sonic and Knuckles show again. That team, that culture just thrives around them, thrives around ground and pound football. And I don't see the Packers defense stopping both of them.
I wish we were really going to see a fully healthy Jordan Love. I mean, dude, he was hurt beginning of the year for a little bit and then right back to it, slinging 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. So I think it could be interesting. Like, even if he's a little banged up, I think he'll play good and they'll stay in it. But I agree, that Lions team is just good.
I think if Jordan Love plays this game, that the Lions defense is actually going to get exposed a little bit. Packers have the second best pass blocking line in the whole league. Lions make a lot of their plays by the pass rush, and their secondary, in my opinion, is not made up of good players. Like I do think that the Lions should win, but I could definitely see Jordan Love throwing for like 350, 400 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns if he does play.
Derek, I love that take, man. I love that take. I was just about to say, A lot of people sleep on the fact the Lions secondary is pretty iffy. I mean, their corners are a little inexperienced. They got Terry and Arnold. I believe Carlton Davis is over there now.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, man. And you got to look at the Packers. They show up in big games. It's in Lambeau as well. Like let's not sleep on that. It's in Lambeau. I don't know if Jordan Love is going to play. That's a huge, huge if Jordan Love plays. Dobbs has been playing well. Jaden Reed's a good option. They got Tucker Kraft.
Who's
Good.
been lighting it up? Let's not
Yeah,
let's not meme him. Tucker Kraft has been going nuclear.
I mean, and they got Wicks. Shout out to the Wicks stands. Like I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people think.
No, but even tying back into the play of Detroit secondary, I remember when they played Seattle, Terry and Arnold was penalized 4 times. I think it was 2 pass interference and 2 defensive holds. If Jordan Love does play, he'll pick that apart.
Regardless of what way it goes, I think it's going to be fireworks. I think it's going to be a great game. And honestly, I'm happy seeing either team kill the other one. I'm rooting for the Lions. I like the Lions, but like I think it would be pretty electric to see the Packers walk up in the Lambeau and absolutely light the Lions up too. We're going to move to a segment which is just straight up called Unfathomable. There was a lot of unfathomable things that happened last week. If you don't know what the word means, it means without fathom. The Commanders' Hail Mary, electric, except for that one guy that was taunting the crowd and caused his team to lose.
Tyreek Stevenson,
Yeah.
idiot.
Moron, straight. I feel bad for him at the same time, though.
It's karma.
It reminds me of, remember like against Seattle in the divisional round, or maybe it was the conference championship, that guy that like onside kick right off his face on Green Bay.
Oh, Brandon Bostic, yeah.
Yep,
That's an unreal pull trick.
felt terrible for Brandon Bostic.
How happy are you, Chirk?
We'll give you your flowers. Let's roll the Rizzler. Some other things that are unfathomable. Kyler Murray got a W after Call of Duty dropped. It's not even like a meme at this point. It's a legit correlation. The release date of Call of Duty is the middle point in which Kyler Murray's games start going downhill. He played pretty good. He had a huge rush, just kind of dropping dimes to Marvy.
Just wait until that double XP weekend when Nuketown comes out. Man, he's gonna lose by like 30.
That's this weekend.
Who they playing?
The Bears. The Bears are dogs.
So I'm telling you, hammer them.
Oh man.
It's like, nah, don't hammer them.
Maybe, but maybe he broke the curse.
Are the Bears dogs, actually?
Yeah,
Yeah.
1.5 point
Barely. Barely. Another unfathomable. The Cowboys blew a last-minute comeback. Just kidding. They do that every week, it feels like. Terrible football team over there in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, and I have something unfathomable to say about that game and just kind of about the Cowboys in general. Mike McCarthy's obsession with running on either 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 5.
Good one.
The sticks.
Unfathomable. Hunter Lepke carries on 3rd and 6. What is
Bad.
going on there?
Hey, he's humble, okay? That's a top 5 fullback in football right there.
I like him a lot. He is humble. I mean, he's really good in the passing game.
Let's let him play fullback though. Like he's not a halfback, he's a fullback.
Something else unfathomable. The Colts' future just got put on standby with the benching of Anthony Richardson for Mr. Sling the Rock himself, Joe Flacco. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I personally love it. For anybody listen, I'm not saying he's gonna be bad, but as of right now, Richardson is a terrible quarterback. No sugarcoating. He shows flashes of crazy arm talent. His EPA per play, which is like one of the most important quarterback stats, is dead last in the league. I mean, I think he went what was it, 2 for 15 or something?
His turnover ratio was terrible too.
He's the
Yeah.
least accurate passer I think I've ever seen in my 15 years of watching the NFL.
Yeah,
And on
he has
top
the
of
lowest
that-
completion percentage out of 100 passes with 44%.
The guy is not good, at least not this year so far.
I agree with the benching this week because of the benching himself because he's tired.
That's what I was just gonna
No
say.
professional athlete should ever do that.
Ever.
But they're also in a spot where he is their future. They invested in him. Run him out there to dry, even if the season's over. Try to get him to develop. And if he doesn't by the end of the year, then look to move on.
Dude, that's the only thing I don't get because you gotta let him play. You gotta know where you stand for next year. You know what I mean?
Well, he only played in 10 NFL games because of injury.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
you
saying.
get
Like,
better at football by playing football, not by watching football. You know what I mean?
exactly. I understand he has to learn, and yeah, he can learn from Joe Flacco and everything, and that makes sense. But if he's not out there playing, they're not going to know what they have to do in the offseason, whether they have to go get a quarterback. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
I think AR is a really talented quarterback. It's very rare to find a quarterback of that build. I think that's what a lot of GMs look for in their next quarterback. They look for a guy that has a big arm and a guy that could run. Look at Jaden Daniels. He panned out. He was one of those guys that is showing that off. Caleb Williams, another guy that could run a little bit, has a great arm. I think that Richardson is a lot like Josh. You guys got to remember Josh Allen in his like rookie year, even in his second year, like this guy didn't look good at all. A lot of people in Buffalo, around Buffalo, in football, they thought Josh Allen was like not going to really pan out that much. And then he figured it out. And once he figured it out, he became a top five quarterback, the second best quarterback in football, undisputedly, in my opinion, in the NFL. I think that Anthony Richardson could develop on that same path. He just needs the correct guidance.
Something you said that reminded me of something I wanted to say. Josh Allen has ruined quarterback scouting forever now because you take a raw guy that could launch the ball and everybody thinks they found the next Josh Allen. Like he might be a needle in a haystack.
Somebody needs to sit him down and say, stop playing pee-wee football. Like that's his issue. Like quarterback, he just gets the ball, he runs where he wants, he doesn't care about the play.
We're almost at our game picks. We're going to give you a lock and an upset. That's what these records are on the screen, by the way. But first, we're going to get to our community hotline. Now, this is you guys. You guys submit your hot takes. You comment on the YouTube videos. Let's see how well they aged. Okay, pretty good from Nick Rinaldi to start off. Marvin Harrison bounce back game with a touchdown. Check. JSN, one touchdown. No. Bills beat the Seahawks by 10 plus. I believe so, right? All right. Good work. Josh Noon with a diabolical parlay, which I could already tell is busted. Bengals, Packers, yeah. Falcons, yeah. Dolphins, no. Texans, yeah. Chargers, yeah. Cowboys, no. Steelers, yeah. So not bad. Okay, pretty good. Not bad take. Oh boy. This might be ugly. I'm going to need some research on this one. Ron Rinaldi says Tank Bigsby 50 and a touchdown.
I feel like
Hank Bigsby had 78 yards, no touchdown. So,
So, okay, it's not ugly. That's on me. Not ugly at all.
and Trevor Lawrence had a rushing touchdown. So it means it was doable.
Number one Derek fan said, Chirk, what are we doing? Fade Chirk. And he also said, Derek, you look handsome as always.
Yeah, just to make a comment about my number one fan. There's a rumor that he's getting a tattoo tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be my face or not. I'm excited to see.
We're all excited to see it.
We wish you well.
Dude, what?
So yeah, that's our community hotline. If you want to be in next week's video, drop a comment below. Give us your hottest take. We'll see how good it aged. And now, after long nights up late, countless hours of research, we finally have our game picks for you. Chirk, start us off with your lock of the week.
I hate picking this team as a lock because they're the scariest team to take, but they're playing the Jags. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I like it. The Eagles may have found something click last week.
And man, this guy hates the Jags.
I hate the Jags, especially they have no receivers this week. I can go out and play receiver for the Jags this week.
Probably. My lock, we talked about this game. It's the game of the week. I got the Lions over the Packers. Just riding the hot hand here. I think there's steamroll potential. I actually think there's steamroll potential in both directions. Actually, that goes against what I wrote down completely. I wrote down the Lions over the Packers in a low-scoring game because we see a road favorite, and me and Derek looked at that, and usually the under hits in those. So give me the Lions in a low-scoring one.
I think I'm going to go with the Bengals this week. I just don't think the Raiders are good, and I do think that the Bengals are good, even though they're 3-5. They're just trending up. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, probably going to connect for at least one touchdown.
Raiders feel like a train wreck, honestly.
Give me the Ravens. Lost last week. They're not going to lose this week. They just got Deontay Johnson.
2 in a row would be weird.
It's my first time making picks. Hopefully I can go 2-0 this week.
If you go 2-0 this week, you know what we do around here. Chirkus went 2-0 this week, so we roll the Rizzler. On the contrary, you go 0-2, you're the mustache of the week. Thank God the Texans pulled it off. I wasn't trying to shave my beard. We don't have any mustaches. So hurrah for us, honestly. I think that might be the first week we don't have a mustache in a while.
We actually have a guy that could throw the ball now for this offense. There's a good weapon, 3 pretty solid receivers. Give me the Vikings against the Colts. That's my lock of the week. I think that Joe Flacco is going to struggle mightily against Brian Flores' scheme. I think that with a healthy Aaron Jones now, I think that the Vikings are going to get back on schedule and they're going to beat a struggling Colts team with a very big question mark at offense. Give me the Vikings.
The betting man doesn't know what to do against Joe Flacco, I feel like.
I don't
Flacco
think he's
could
going
come
to do
out.
that good, man.
I agree.
That's a
I
good
don't
take.
like-
He could come out and be terrible. Like they do that thing where they bring everybody onto the line. Can you ever count Flacco out of like coming in and slinging?
No, you can't. That's
No,
why I don't
never.
like betting against him.
We're going to move into our upsets of the week.
Earlier, we were talking about it. That there were 2 games where the dog shouldn't be the dog. I'm not going to go with either of those 2. I'm going with a pick I absolutely hate. Hurts my stomach to even think about this game. I can't give you a reason why I like this. Give me the Patriots over the Titans in Tennessee.
They should flex that to 9:30, so like no one has to watch that.
I was gonna say that. But wait, what's the game in Munich? It's terrible.
Yeah, Giants Panthers next week.
Okay.
Man.
Next week in Munich is Giants Panthers with a halftime show performed by Machine Gun Kelly. Undoubtedly the worst
Oh my
lineup in
God.
sports history. That's one of the worst events sports will ever see. My upset this week is the Texans over the Jets. I think the Jets are an absolute dumpster fire. They might lock down CJ Stroud and co in the passing game, but they are not going to stop Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is going to run all over this Jets team.
So we talked about this game a little bit earlier. If Jordan Love plays, I don't see a way that the Packers lose. Give me the Packers over the Lions.
Wow.
And I'll
Love
throw
it.
this out there too, just because Jordan Love might not play. I also like the Browns over the Chargers. I'm not going to take them together. Give me the Packers. I just like the Browns too.
Do you want both?
Bury him.
Give me both.
You're both of them?
Why not? Both. Give me both. Give me Jameis. Give me Jameis and Love. If I get the Rizzler this week, I want him, Big AJ, and Big Justice on the couch at Jimmy Fallon
Okay.
to roll.
Okay.
News came out about Call of Duty and Murray. So give me the freaking Bears. The Bears are
Nice.
winning that game. Give me
As of
Bears.
this recording, they are an underdog.
My upset of the week. Shout out Derek for sliding after the Packers. I like the Browns versus the Chargers. I like that new offense. Little questionable with their receiving options, but they got the chief. They got Njoku. Nick Chubb is back. Jerome Ford is expected to be back this week. I think they'll run the ball a lot. And I think that their defense is good enough to limit the Chargers' run game with J.K. Dobbins. I think the J.K. Dobbins show is going to be over very soon. And I think that Browns defense is going to do well. Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, they'll eat up. Go Browns, go Jameis.
Every Saturday now, we're going to be giving you our best bets. You could also find them in our Discord, which is completely free. Go ahead and join. Thanks for watching. We will catch you for week 10.